is making time for yourself. And I think that too many of us feel like when we do that, we're being selfish. And that couldn't be more misguided. We're not selfish at all when we take time for self-care. And what we know about self-care, even though it's such a little kitschy word these days, what we know is when we take the time to 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 do some wellness work within ourselves, that trickles out to every relationship we have, trickles out to our work, it trickles out to our world. So celebrate the fact that you've logged on today and taken a moment. So what Nancy and I talked about this, we planned the fall back in, I guess, August, maybe even July. And looking forward at that time to the new year seemed a long way down the road, and now here it is upon us. The holidays are upon us, as we talked about last month, and the new year's right around the corner. And so often when people look at the word resolution, it's a very top down sort of judgmental process. And we know that a certain amount of stress and a certain amount of, pushing our envelope, our comfort envelope, can be resilience building, can help us with tenacity, sticking to things, staying on a roof, as they say. But it can also be a real diminishing process if stress and pressure becomes too much. So just trying to find that balance today. So I've called our presentation, our workshop for today, Reframing Resolution for Reality. A lot of the time when we create our resolutions, we have this sort of perfect world pie in the sky. Um, M. Scott Peck said in The Road Less Traveled, a book that came out probably 30 years ago now, maybe 40 years ago now, that we do ourselves a real disservice when we think that ease is right around the next corner. And once we've gone around that corner and life has gotten easier, then we're going to be able to do this resolution thing. And that's just not our reality. Our reality is that challenge is part of life, and the only certain thing is change. So maybe embracing change in a new way. So I'm going to ask for a lot of input today. So I'll have to get out of my full screen mode so that I can see the chat. So if you'll be a little patient with me during that process, I may lag, my audio and my video may lag a little bit when I'm toggling back and forth. So we'll deal with that little obstacle when it arises. And I had a great conversation recently. I have a brilliant nephew and a brilliant son who were having a brilliant conversation that was really kind of overwhelming for me. And I found myself kind of moving in and out of the conversation. We had a big group here for the holiday. And as I moved into the conversation, I would pick some things up, and then I kind of needed to move out of the conversation to reflect. And afterwards, we were talking about the type of interactions that will fill your cup, which is my goal, right? One of the greatest compliments you can give a yoga teacher is, "Oh, you filled my cup today," which is wonderful. But I think something we in mental health need to remember, that sometime if the cup is already full and we just keep pouring and keep pouring and keep pouring, then we just make a mess. And what we've done is created a dynamic of people being overwhelmed. So I'm going to try to underwhelm you today versus overwhelm you. Last month, if you were with me, there was a lot of information about vagus nerve and nervous system. Today, I'm just going to set that aside and go on faith that you understand everything I bring you will be based in research and good practice. So, my confession as an overachiever. I have, and let's put this in the chat, I have made a tiny URL. I don't know if you're familiar with this. Let's see what I just did. Yeah, and here it is open, but let me put it in the chat quick. Over down, I have to get back to this. And these are handouts we'll be looking at. If you do this
So I can't hear you anymore, Nancy, Mary.
Yeah, something weird happened. I thought it
There
kicked
we
me
go.
out entirely, but it only kicked me out. It only turned off my microphone. Sorry. Zoom can be so weird. I was giving a workshop for Region 20 on Friday, and I went into a breakout room and it kicked me out of my own workshop. So there's the tiny URL for our handouts. If y'all are familiar with tiny URL, it shortens long and sort of challenging URL addresses. So I'm going to go back. I'm not going to go to full screen, but I'm just going to go back to this for a minute. Open that up. Take a moment. Get your kind of your ducks in a row logistically. And then before we launch into any of it, I'd like to spend just a moment together. Let me get my clock going because I don't want to go over our time. I'd like to take just a moment to sort of prepare for this conversation, to prepare for the work we're going to do today, some of the hard truths we might look at, some of the reframing we might consider, and prepare for that with some grounding. So once you have gotten those handouts open, just either come back to the Zoom or just lower your eyes or even close your eyes, depending on what works better for you. And start just to feel the feet square on the floor. I'm assuming most of us are in desk chairs, but nothing crossed. No crossed ankles, no crossed knees, no crossed hands, feet square on the floor. If you're sitting somewhere in a yoga meditation position, that is, of course, fine, but let's keep hands free, palms facing the ceiling, resting on the extended legs or the thighs. Letting the gaze drop. If you have a serious trauma background, you may not want to close your eyes. Only you know what is best for you. And as we move into this grounding, we're going to look at that diaphragmatic breathing that you may have heard about. But if not, let's revisit it. Putting one hand on the belly and one hand on the chest. As we use our breath as object here, all we're doing is feeling the rise and fall of the chest, but also feeling the rise and fall of the belly, because if the belly moves, then we know our breath is not only entering the upper lobes of the lungs, which is a very shallow and really counter to relaxation breath. We want to also inflate the lower lobes of the lung, which happens through diaphragmatic breathing. We want to send that air through the diaphragm into the low lungs. And you can tell if that's happening because your belly blows up like a little balloon and it inflates and deflates. And now you know you're breathing through the diaphragm, which is turning on that vagus nerve, which gives our parasympathetic nervous system good messages for good outcomes. So just feeling the breath through the chest and into the belly. Grounding, feeling the seat, feeling our feet on the ground, our sits bones in the seat. We're in a dignified and upright posture that allows air to move easily in and out the airways. If it's available to you, I suggest breathing in and out through the nose, but this time of year that may not be possible. And as our eyes drop, considering just for a moment what you can hear, maybe the sounds closest to you, which might be the sound of my voice. You may even hear or feel the beating of your heart with your hand on your chest, your hand on your belly. You may hear the air moving in and out of the nasal passages. Cooler on the inhale and warmer on the exhale. If your eyes are cast downward, you may see your own lap. You may be curious about this belly hand moving up and down, rise and fall. Or if your eyes are closed, as mine are, you might see light playing behind your eyes. An interesting play of light and shadow. So, using the senses to ground us in this present moment, you might be able to smell something. I don't smell much today and I don't taste anything. But you may be sipping tea or coffee or having a bite of lunch. So, centering yourself, grounding yourself in those senses. And before we leave this mindful meditation moment, we'll take 3 more breaths. And again, just getting curious about the play of the belly, the rise and fall of the chest, the rise and fall of the belly as we experience a deeper breath. Moves through the diaphragm, improving our outcomes. Releasing some of that physical stress that we may feel associated with the workaday world. And when you're ready to lift your eyes back up and rejoin me in this moment, we'll continue. So you have that available to you on the recording. Feel free to use it when you need to come into the present moment. Let me off this blank. Hold on just a second. Feel free to go back to that opportunity for grounding. So, where are you with the word resolution? Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it top down? Is it pressure? Is it tough love? Where are you? Let's respond in the chat or open mics. I'm going to come out of full screen mode so that I can see y'all. So if anybody wants to open a mic or turn on a camera so I'm not so lonely out here, you can do that. Or just use the chat and I'll be able to watch the chat now that I'm back in Zoom mode. Where are you? What does the word resolution mean? Is it a judgy thing? Is it harsh? Does it feel new and fresh and wonderful and like an opportunity? I'm going to take a sip of my iced coffee here. Wait for a few responses in the chat. Welcome, by the way. I see Cabito, Ramirez, Nicole G, somebody's iPhone, Russell, Nancy, feel free to chime in. Where are you? Feels challenging. Goals and changes. Resolutions mean goals or plan. All right, yeah. Jacob, challenging like I'm ready for this, or challenging like, oh God, I don't want to make a resolution again because last year didn't go so well, Where are you? Where are you with your right now feeling like resolution can really happen? Like on a scale of 0 to 10, where are y'all? Like, I'm going to make these resolutions. Okay. All right, Jacob, ready and exciting. It's a good place to be. It's a fresh start, right? You're 9. Nice. Good numbers. Well, make sure you chime in today because find a plan. All I see is iPhone there, so I don't know what your name is. I find a plan, make a goal, think of the challenges. I don't know. I think, Jacob, what I hear you saying is like it's an opportunity rather than like, oh my God, this is so challenging. Sometimes I use challenge. I do a lot in my work. I had a kid today who was having a meltdown and acting out, using every curse word in the world. And, I had to write, it appears that XYZ is challenged by his emotional regulation today. What I really meant is it's not going very well. But I think, Jacob, in your sense, I'll share my slides again in 1/2 second. I just wanted to be able to see people's responses on the chat. So when I go back to SlideShare, Heather, if it doesn't pop up, let me know. Okay, yes, Jacob, an opportunity. Wonderful. All right, I'm going to go back to my slide share. Heather, can you open mic and let me know if you're seeing what I'm intending for you to see there with the slideshow? Where are you on the word resolution? Or did that drop off too?
I'm not seeing the slide yet.
Okay. I guess when it kicked my microphone off, it kicked my share off too. Let me go back to the Zoom and go back to the share and go back to my application and go back to my slides. Oh, Zoom, Zoom, Zoom. We just roll with it, don't we? I can promise you it's easier when there are a few of us than there were when there are 100. I can get really crazy. Okay, are we seeing it now, Heather?
Yes.
All right, wonderful. Okay, so we had some really positive. I'm really happy to see that because most people I talk to, it's not like that. So reframing resolution to reduce judgment and resistance to change. Sounds like Jacob, you're there. You're seeing this as an opportunity. You're excited. You want a fresh start. You want a reason. Sometimes dates are good, right? Birth dates or anniversaries of things that have happened in our lives or New Year's Day. So, what are other RE words? My literary self, my wordsmith self came out, as if you can't tell, that might lead to making, following Jacob's lead here, reframing resolution to be a positive thing, less judgy, less top down. Again, I've got to escape out of my full frame here to get back to where I can see y'all and see the chat. So I may lag. New beginnings. Yes, thank you. I love that. All right. Chat some more with me. Think about your RE words. I know you're all Googling like synonyms for resolution. What are RE? Okay, so I'm going to go with re-energizing. Nice, Heather. Thank you. Opportunities for redirecting. Okay, Russell. All right, rediscovering. Jacob, nice. What other RE words pop up? Reimagining. Oh my gosh, I wish I had called y'all when I was creating this. Your words are better than mine. Reimagining. Gosh, y'all are really like positive people. This is so cool. Nice. Reimagining, renew, refocus. Yes. Rediscover, redirect, re energize. Yeah. I love it. Reconstruct. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'll end up going until 2 o'clock and then I miss all my afternoon clients and y'all hate me forever. Yeah. And I guess what I want to say about reconstruct is realizing that we don't have to deconstruct to reconstruct, right? We don't have to tear ourselves down. It can be more like a renovation, more like an adding a room than leveling the building. So we can reconstruct, meeting ourselves where we are now. Yeah, we can reconstruct. I love it. Okay, I'm thinking we heard from everybody. So I'm going to go back to I think I'm still sharing. Oh, y'all couldn't see me during all that. Sorry. And I am intending to be sharing again. So let me know if anything weird has happened. All right. So reflection, mindful moment. We're going to do just another quick little mindfulness. And I wish I could see this screen and y'all's chat at the same time. But using the words you shared there, renew, reimagine, reconstruct, new beginnings, redirect. I know I'm not pulling them all out of my brain. How can those words, if you've still got some stuff going on, like I'm telling Mary the good stuff, but the truth is, I'm a little nervous here. I'm a little nervous about making change happen. When those nervous moments, when that self-doubt arises, how can we use those words to rewire the brain's aptitude for change. So just take a second on that. What word do you want to pull out of our work together today for the doubter moments? When that little doubter, that little self critic is sitting on your left shoulder and saying, you can't do this. You tried for years to do this. You think you can do this, but you can't do this. You don't even think you can. That really nasty little self doubt voice that pops up. You're an imposter. You're just pretending you want to change. We have some very, very judgy self doubt that pops up in our brains sometime. When that pops up, what do you say to flick that little dude off the shoulder? What words? Jot those down. What words are going to redirect? What words are going to help you face moments of resistance and doubt and dread? Right. Just a reflection moment there. So one of the words I came up with is resolve. And I want to address this because sometime we need to resolve some stuff as part of moving forward. Now, I don't mean you have to go back and address every pain of your childhood or relive every trauma, or I don't mean that we have to do a lot of backward looking, but I mean resolving just to, more like in the word acceptance. Resolving something is something we can look forward to, right? Resolving maybe that self-doubt. Maybe if there's something around relationship change that we're looking at for the new year, what do we need to resolve? What do we need to kind of reconcile on, reflect on in a new way to build the steps we need to go forward? That's just one thought, and we're going to get kind of structural with this in a minute. Somebody put renew. Again, I loved that. What changes would you like to work toward that will result in a sense of renewal? I said to do this in the chat, but it may be more private than that. I'm going to give us a second. I'm going to go ahead to the chat, but we're starting to drill it down a little bit. Okay, now what I do like that. I like that word renew. What changes can I work toward that are going to make me feel like life is new again? So I'm going to escape out of my full screen. I'm going to go back to where I can see you, and I'll even turn my video on so you can see me. Ooh, retry. I see that Jacob added. All right. What are some things that you might want to look at? Maybe you're going to want to consider. Maybe you haven't thought about this until now. To give you that sense of renewal, restart, reset, do-overs, again, we're not deconstructing to reconstruct. We're just, what are some things that you could add in the chat? And if this is too private, I won't pressure you here. Okay, Jacob wants to replenish. Okay, so maybe there's a cup that's partially full in Jacob's life. He wants to pour some new juju in there, right? Growth, school, refresh, recover. Oh, Nicole, yes. Yes, that's kind of that, some of that things we need to resolve, right? We may have some recovery to look at. And, recovery is, what do we say? They say in AA, I don't do addiction counseling, but that relapse is part of recovery, right? That when we're recovering, whatever it is, behavioral, emotional, life, habits, sometimes they're little dips. We need to remember that. It's not going to be a straight trajectory, sorry, that there are little dips that may be involved in that recovery. Heather's looking for a sense of calm. Lupe wants to rejuvenate in order to be able to renew. I hope you're going to get a little holiday time. I don't know what that looks like in your world. But yeah, recover, rejuvenate, grow, maybe some school stuff, replenish, refill my cup, right? Nice. Okay. Going back to the slides. Thank you all or interacting. You know, you can always open mics too, but I know people are so hesitant to do that. And I'm guilty of the same. Yeah, when I go back to my thing here, it's lagging me a little. Okay. Now let's reflect for a minute, and we don't have to do this because I know I'm a little. I might be a little behind my time. I think I am. What changes would you like to work toward that will help you? Let's do this. That will help you reclaim some good and joyful. This is kind of along with that word replenish, right? Some good and joyful aspect of your life, something that you were doing and was part of you. I'll tell you mine. The other day, I was taking wax off of cheese, and I remembered I love making cheese. How long has it been since I made homemade cheese? I love making cheese and I love waxing cheese, and it's so therapeutic and the warm wax. And I was like, why haven't I done that? But until I was taking the wax off the cheese, I hadn't even thought of it. I hadn't thought of it for so long. Think now. Think to things that used to really bring joy to your life. And again, I'm going to go back to the chat. What's something you might want to reclaim as part of your resolution? I'm going to put in cheese making. Let's see. Karate. Heather, martial arts was my first introduction to mindfulness and meditation and everything that became the rest of my life back years ago. Bike riding. Yes, Jacob, get on those wheels. Nice. More bike riding from Nicole. Cool. Running. Oh, go ahead. You do that. I am no runner. Nice. Good. I always admire hand drawing and art. Jacob, you have no idea how many of my young people that I work with that drawing and art are one of their strategies. Ramirez, you want to go dancing? Let's go dancing. I love it. That's great. Yeah. Include these. Cooking, Heather. Yeah. Include these. If they weren't on your resolution, again, so often resolution, we think I got to change. I'm broken. I need to fix me. I need to lose weight. I need to stop cussing. I need to quit this. What are we going to add, right? Painting. Lupe, hi, Lupe. I think you just joined us. You want to add back in painting, art, expression. Nice. There's so much of that, right? I see a lot of the arts here, painting, drawing, karate, really martial arts I think of as an art. Nice. Okay, cool. All right. Add some stuff in. Don't just break old habits, right? Add some stuff in. All right, let's look. Get this back into slideshow mode. Release. Okay. Release. What's in your way? Big question, right? What behaviors or thoughts, beliefs would you like to, maybe need to release so that you can move towards something different? Boy, I did the Compassion Institute of San Antonio, a year ago now. I don't remember exactly when it was. And I loved, I hope I didn't say this last month, but I loved this metaphor, if you will, that one of the people running the Compassion Institute mentioned, and that was withholding forgiveness is like expecting the other person to drink poison. No, no. Hold on. I got it wrong. Withholding forgiveness is like drinking poison yourself, but expecting the other person to die. It's so toxic for us, right? So what do you need to release? What do you need to forgive? What do you need to accept, look at, nod at, and then move on? This is really personal, isn't it? I don't know. If you want to put this in the chat, do. If you don't, for me, y'all, most of it is self-doubt, self-judgment, top-downing, harshness. It may be as simple as that, or it may be more specific to some of your goals. I need to release XYZ in this relationship or in this dynamic. So think about it, and I'll go to the chat. I also know that some people may be like, yeah, I'm not I'm not sharing this out loud, and that's fine. Releasing self-criticism. Russell, you added the outdoors. Amen, amen, amen. Releasing self-criticism, Heather. Releasing worry. One of the biggest lessons of my lifetime, about 10, 12 years ago, was when a very wise soul said, you know that your worry changes nothing. And I'm like, no, 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 you don't understand. I keep the world running by worrying. I keep my children alive by worrying. Worrying is important. No, worrying changes nothing. Yeah, worrying changes nothing. Self criticism, there's no research, zip, zero, none, research that shows being hateful and harsh with ourselves moves us forward, being compassionate with ourselves. Not easy peasy making excuses, but being compassionate with ourselves trickles outward and it moves us forward. All right. Any more responses before we move past this chat? Okay. Well, forgive, Lupe. Amen. Stop drinking that poison, right? Because it is only toxic to you. I mean, do y'all ever do that? Like I'm on I-10 and some, what is it? Isle of Man says, beautiful child of God, cleverly disguised as an idiot, cuts me off, road racing, mad at somebody else, drives down the road, and 10 minutes later, I'm still talking to that person. I'm still telling them, I hope you better, your mother, blah, 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 blah. And then I realize, yeah, I, they're not thinking of me. I've just wasted 10 minutes of my life. Yeah. Nice, nice. Forgiveness, Lupe. Yeah. Get rid of the toxins. Cleanse, right? Like an emotional, mental cleanse and forgive. Beautiful. Okay. All right. Let's slip back over here. I like this interactive stuff. Y'all are awesome. I'm so sorry it keeps going back to this. Yep. Okay. One more. Restore. What changes? Now, y'all have already mentioned so many of these. So we don't have to go to the chat on this one because I want to get to the handouts. What changes would you like to work toward that will help you restore your energy, your self-worth, your health, your joy, your productivity? I think you've really, I'm going to go to the chat for a minute just to look at how many of your responses respond to restore. Anyone who wants to add anything, feel free. I want to restore cheese making, right? Bike riding, running, drawing, dancing, painting. Oh, Lupe, um, outdoors. Yeah, the out. Jacob, I see relaxing your hammock outside. Yes. And I don't know about you, but I'm a creature in motion and I'm in that hammock and I'm like, maybe I should hop up and do this thing. It's hard for me to truly restore, to claim this time in my hammock outside. Use that five senses grounding when you need to move into that restorative mode. Stop striving, stop trying. Remember, as if you're walking in nature, slow down, right? Notice when you're walking, what's right under my feet, what's right around me, what's on the path, what's by the path, what's near the path, even if it's a sidewalk along a city street. Notice what's close by, and then maybe lift your field of vision. Well, what's in my mid-range field of vision? Oh, I can see a tree. Or I can, oh, well, now what's in my long range? I see the mountains. I want to see the mountains. I have mountain fever. I see the trees. I see the clouds. I see the sky. do that walking like a meditation rather than like a, oh, I need steps on my Fitbit, right? Use that relaxing in your hammock time, that walking time to restore rather than challenging yourself or um, striving, right? Use some of these activities simply to restore. Nice, nice, nice. Y'all are awesome. Okay. All right. I'm going to steal all your ideas from my therapy people. Sorry. If it's good, I got to steal it. All right. Let's process this with a handout. I think I have them open. So I'm going to go to that. And really, this is going to be largely the rest of our time together. Let me get back for 1 second, make sure I'm not lying to you. Yeah, we're going to do one more visualization. So at like 12:55, we're going to do one more visualization and then contact information and out. So let's take some time with these. If you will make yourself a copy, so go to File, make yourself a copy of the entire slide deck. I use a slide deck because it's easier than Google Docs. It's easier to insert, it's just my experience. Probably when we're text savvy and I probably break in a second. So, all right, let's and I'm going to give you a minute to look through this. Reframing the word resolution into less judgmental, thus less stressful, thus more doable, more better potential for change, right? Chunks. We talked about renew, reclaim, release, and restore. So you may want to do that now, or you may want to do this now. You decide. I think this page is the best page to do first. So this is called fluency and flexibility, right? You're just going to generate as many possible changes. This is not a list of everything you're going to claim as a resolution. These are maybes, okay? So on your own copy, nobody will be able to see it. Take a minute. I'm going to give you like, I don't know, 4 minutes. Take a minute to just throw down I'm going to go to the moon, whatever it is. Don't judge it, don't measure it, don't analyze it. Throw down behaviors, emotions, thoughts, or beliefs that you want to release because they're holding you back. And then throw down some behaviors, emotions, thoughts, and beliefs that you want to embrace. So that's where your actual resolutions would be, okay? Left side is stuff you're going to let go of to get it out of your way. Right side is stuff you're going to move toward, right? To keep becoming awesome you. Y'all are already pretty awesome. I'm going to completely shut up for like 4 minutes. I'll even put myself on silent. I'm going to unmute myself just real quick. Jacob, oh, there you go. Sorry. Shh, back to quiet. Round out your thinking there in about the next minute or so. Jacob, remember to make yourself a copy, and that way your responses won't show up on my screen. Go to File, make a copy, and that way your thoughts will continue to be just your thoughts. Okay, I'm going to bring you back to me. So Jacob, I was saying if you go to File, make a copy, then you'll be able to, I can't see the chat right now, so I don't know if we're communicating, but you'll be able to make your own copy of these documents, and that way you can use them without them being public. Okay, so you've brainstormed a whole bunch of stuff. I think you pick a few and then use this four square to get kind of systematic. Which of your resolutions are going to fall under renew, which one's under reclaim, which one's under release, which one's under restore. A lot of those are already in the chat, but now, collect that information for you to go forward. And then we're going to have a short conversation about what to do when we get in our own way, or how to tell that we're getting in our own way with some journaling. Just a couple minutes to put those ideas you've had and the ones you want to move forward with into quadrants. Okay, you can finish that up later. I want to look at this journaling sort of system Actually devised this for early client I had early on in my practice who had psychotic episodes, and she was trying to figure out what was bringing on, what were the precursors, right? In education we call this functional behavior assessment. What happened before the thing that I didn't want to happen happened, or the thing I did want to happen, right? So you can read the instructions on your own time. I'm sorry about that typo there. Let me add a T to the word that. But the idea is that you're kind of doing this structured journaling thing around your resolutions. So under that column, desired change that this relates to, okay, what is it you're trying to change? So what's the resolution, right? And then if it tanked, right? What happened right before? What was I doing? Was I on Facebook? Because usually that's it. Was I doing something that was dreading the past or looking toward the future or judging myself? What was I doing? And or hey, it went really well. I really met this change, my resolution change head on today. Okay, well, what were you doing when that happened? So this could be behaviors or thoughts that are moving you toward or holding you back. It can be an obstacle or something that's moving you forward. And then you decide, yeah, was it moving me forward? Was it holding me back? What happened right before this? So not only what was the behavior associated with either this challenge, this setback, or this leap forward, but what happened right before that? Because that's where we see the sweet spot, y'all. That's where we see really being able to get analytical about how our behaviors are affecting our behaviors, is to look at the before. Look at the before. Who were you talking to? What were you thinking about? What were you doing right before the great thing happened or the lousy thing happened? So that's just another little tool for you. And I'm going to close that out now. You still have it. And let's do one last visualization together. There's a mode of therapy called solution focused brief therapy. It's actually all they'll let people use when they're working with the military community. And it's good. It's not enough for a lot of stuff, but it's good stuff. And I kind of want to use what's called the miracle question. So, as we cast our eyes downward for our last mindful moment, our last meditation, we're going to reconnect with the breath. And I'm going to ask you to ask yourself, what will I look like? What will my life look like when this change is occurring or has occurred? What will my face look like? What will my desk look like? I don't know. I don't know. Whatever the change is, what will my life look like as I move toward this change that I long for? What is possible? Let's fill your cup with hope around resolution and renewal and reclaiming and releasing and restoring and redirecting and reimagining and all those wonderful RE words that are in the chat. So I'm not going to be able to call those out individually. I'm just going to create 4 opportunities for the 4 quadrants. Letting your eyes cast downward, either downward cast or close, reconnecting with the breath again. Reconnecting, there's another good RE word. Becoming aware again of the breath moving through the nostrils or throat, however you need to inhale today, into the upper lobes of the chest and into the lower lobes of the lungs. Feeling the rise and fall of the belly as this deeper, more intentional breathing activates so many good things in our nervous system. What's possible? What will you look like, feel like, be like when you've found your way to the changes you seek? whether they're changes around renewal, reclamation, maybe redemption, redirection, reimagining what's possible. And then envisioning another of the changes you you want to move toward. If this thing, right? What will you look like, feel like, be like? What will be the emotions around this change when you're going through it, when you find your way? What's possible? I'd like to encourage you to use this recording or your own meditation moments, imagining, envisioning what's possible. There's so much good research behind this. So many athletes, entertainers, brilliant genius, inventor people spend time imagining what is possible, reimagining what it will look like, feel like, be like. And as we move out of that mindful moment, I invite you to lift your eyes once again. I'm going to go back to the Zoom now. We have one whole minute for questions, comments. You also have my contact information. Let me put that in here in the chat. This is actually my personal email. So if there's anything semi-clinical you want to discuss, just tell me you'd like my new email. I don't put that on here because y'all aren't my my clients, but I can make that available if there's something more, more confidential that you want to discuss. So there's me, mholmananderson@gmail.com. Questions, thoughts, comments before we say goodbye today? Imagine possible, okay, y'all? Thank you for your time. I appreciate it so much.